Hello everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. In today's video, I am sharing Simon Says Stamp's latest kit club for May, which is called Rainbow is My Favorite Color. For those of you who have been here for a while, you know that rainbow is my favorite color, so I was super excited to grab this kit. So first, let's take a really quick flip through of the contents of this month's kit. So let's start out by taking a look at these contents of this kit. There's so much in here. This is the instruction sheet or the kit contents with some ideas. There is a yellow fuzzy pom-pom in this kit. I think it would be a cute sun, but I didn't end up using it. More mini domed ink blending foams, which I love and I can't get enough of. There are 4 hybrid Simon Says Stamp ink cubes in great colors. There's a die that is the Hello Rainbow die. There's some doodlebug shape sprinkles, a holographic envelope, which is gorgeous. The fairy jewels from Memory Box. There are 300 self-adhesive little gems in a rainbow of colors. This is pattern paper from Doodlebug Design. I love Doodlebug's rainbow collections because the colors are so bright and fun, and I love the patterns that they have. Also that they have B-sides of these pattern papers that are very versatile. There's a 4x9 stencil. This is a Simon Says Stamp Build a Rainbow stencil. You can see you can create clouds. There's a sun and then several rainbows. And then this is the 6x8 stamp set. This is also Simon Says Stamp. Rainbow is my favorite color. Clear stamp set. And there's a rainbow holographic cardstock, which I am going to be getting more of. I love this cardstock. And then a piece of white cardstock as well. Now let's make some cards. I really try to use a little bit of everything that's included in the kit, and I try not to use stuff that's not in the kit, so you can really see what you can create just with the kit and your basic supplies. For this first card, I'm going to create a diagonal rainbow corner to the card, and I'm going to use this creative corner from Misty because you can see that I can't really stamp off the edge with this long stamp if I don't have the creative corner in place. So that is just one way to use those creative corners, to give yourself a little more room and to be able to stamp off the edge of an A2 piece of cardstock. So if you want more tips on the creative corners, let me know down in the comments below. I don't think I've ever done a creative corners video, but I really do use them every once in a while for some different looks and different stamping techniques. Okay, so I mentioned before that these cubes are the Simon Says Stamp hybrid ink. Really love the way that they stamp. And I have a bunch of these cubes actually. I haven't bought full-size pads for these, but the cubes do last quite a long time. If you really like the colors, you can always grab the refills for those as well. So I am just eyeballing the difference between these two lines and trying to keep them straight. That was pretty easy to do. You could definitely use the grid lines on your Misty mouse pad or the pad underneath to line up and to create this same exact space. I was just going for a fun rainbow here in the corner. So I am double stamping all of these. That is the other reason that I use the Misty, is to really get a crisp impression. I often have to double stamp. It is not just with these ink cubes, it is with, for me, most inks. So I really also like the color when it's a bit deeper and richer, and these inks do dry back just like all inks do. So even though they look super, super vibrant now, they will chill out a little bit as they dry. So you can see that when I'm double stamping, I only add the second layer of ink to the part of the stamp that really removed all of the ink on the paper, and that's how I'm like not wasting as much ink doing that double stamping. And again, that creative corner is just giving me room to stamp off both edges on the top and the bottom. So this is my rainbow that I've created this time, and I think that this stamp is really fun and could be used in a lot of different ways. You don't always have to use a rainbow. You could just use it to create stripes as well. I'm also going to stamp one of the large clouds on the white area on the cardstock there, and I am using the same ink. This is the Audrey Blue. Audrey Blue is one of my favorite colors from Simon Says Stamp. I actually have a bunch of cardstock. I may be low now, so I may have to get some more, but I was going to use some of the Audrey Blue cardstock on this card, and then I decided I didn't want to really bring in things that weren't in the kit, because sometimes that can be frustrating, I think, for people watching to see, well, I thought that was in the kit, why did you use it? That kind of thing. So I really like to stick within the universe of the kit. And there's so much that you can do with this kit, so you really don't have to bring in your other supplies. Sometimes too, that really helps you to create a new fun looking card. I don't think I've ever done a card with stripes in the diagonal on the corner like this. So it just brings up different ideas because you're only using the contents of the kit. I did mat this panel on an A2 piece of the pattern paper, and then I decided to bring in the fairy jewels. I like when jewels like this are on a clear backing that you can move around, because then you can see which colors you really want to use. And I was able to match up all the colors of the jewels to look like the colors of the ink, which I think is really fun and neat. So I am just lining up some of these jewels on the lines just to add a little bit of interest and dimension and some sparkle and shine to this very simple card. But this was a lot of fun to make, and you know how much I love these rainbows, so it was all about rainbows in this kit. Again, you could use this for other stripes and things like that. For this next card, I ended up making a square card, which I haven't done in a long time. I'm using a wide piece of purple tape on the stencil over the cardstock. So I have the cardstock down on my water media mat, then I put the stencil on top, then I put some purple tape on the cardstock to cover up some of those open spaces in the stencil and to hold the stencil in place. And the reason that I'm not using pixie spray this time is because I'm creating clouds and there's going to be a lot of movement of the stencil up and down on the cardstock. So I don't really want to spray it and then get any of the spray on there or anything like that. So I am just using the purple tape this time to keep it in place. Accidentally colored in one of the little clouds, and I didn't like the way that looked, so I tried to cover it up with some sky, but I decided to cut this down to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 so that I could make a square card, and I ended up really liking that. I think it's super cute. So I am going to cut out some of that rainbow holographic cardstock into the rainbow die, and then I'm stamping one of the sentiments from the stamp set that says, "You make me happy," on the blue sky of that little panel there. I did end up cutting the panel down to 4 by 4 so that I could mat it on some white cardstock. This is the new 3D foam tape from Thermoweb in the big roll, and I love it. It is super easy to peel off the back protective layer. It has nice depth and dimension, and I am going to pop up this holographic rainbow. So the die actually cuts the whole rainbow arc and then embosses the different lines in between what would be the colors of the rainbow, which I just think is really, really cute. It's just a totally different look. You could obviously cut this out of white cardstock and then color in the different lines. I love this. So I cut it out of 3 different parts of the rainbow holographic cardstock, and then I popped each of them up. That last one, I tripled the foam tape on the right-hand side so that it would sit on the card panel flat. The last thing I'm going to do is add some of those fairy jewels. They're just so cute, and since there's 300 of them, you could really use them on all your cards and still have plenty left over. For this next card, I am going to use the stencil to its full capacity. It is a 4x9 stencil, so you can absolutely use it on a slimline card. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I cut a piece of white cardstock down to about, I think it was 3.5 by 8.5, and then I just ink blended with the Audrey Blue ink and one of the domed foam blenders, the clouds at the top. Now I've die cut out of the pattern paper rainbows that are in each of the different colors of the rainbow, and I'm gluing them next to each other with some Thermoweb Memory Runner XL, which is my favorite tape runner. Now I'm just going to stamp the sentiment. So I've put this whole Slimline panel into my original size Misty since I'm doing a Slimline card, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment in black ink from the Stamp Market at the top of the middle rainbow. The last thing I'm going to do here is add some of the hearts from the Doodlebug little stickers there. They have stickers in little hearts in each of the colors, and they also have little rainbows and little clouds. And I just think those are so cute around the sentiment. Super quick and easy card, but so much fun. For this next card, I'm using the large rainbow arc stamps from the stamp set. I want to show you how easy these are to use. So I am working on an A2 piece of white cardstock. I'm actually in my mini Misty. I don't have to worry about really stamping off the side, although I am slightly stamping off the right hand edge so that it will be a flat edge on that side, and then it's curved at the bottom because the stamp is curved on both sides. I'm just stamping off the side on the right hand side at the top there. I just overlap the stamps a teeny tiny bit just so there's no white space in between the different rainbow arcs. You could absolutely have the white space, and that's just a totally different look, kind of more like the diagonal rainbow that we did in the first card, but I really wanted to see how these inks did overlapping each other just a touch, and they do really, really well. The colors come out really pretty together. So this last one, I just had a little space in between the blue and the green, so I'm going to trim this down on that side so that it's all flat. See, now it's nice and flush to the side and it's all straight. And then I'm going to trim the other side down so that this is a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock. And then I'm going to use some tape runner to mat it onto an A2 piece of white cardstock. I was going to put it on either the holographic or the pattern paper. I just really liked the white on white. It looked really pretty. So now I'm going to stamp the sentiment in that corner there that's under the rainbow, and it says, "I love you for who you are," which I think is such a sweet sentiment. And I'm going to line up a line of fairy gems in the entire rainbow there. And I did include purple. I know some of you always miss the purple when I end at blue, but I did include the purple gem. And I just love that little line of gems. Super, super cute. I had one that was just a little off center. It was driving me completely nutty, but you just can move them around just a touch. And they are just so much fun and so cute. There is a whole other rainbow in the stamp set, so I did want to share that one as well. And it's a complete arc this time instead of kind of that half arc, and it's much smaller. So I decided to start with the blue and just do the blue, green, and yellow for this rainbow. I sometimes really like the limited colors in the rainbow, like people will just do like red, orange, and yellow, or start with the blue. And that's just a fun way to change up rainbow if you want something totally different or just a little bit different, or if you're just tired of seeing the entire rainbow, which I don't know why you would be, but if that's you, then think about changing up your colors and just having fun with them. Nothing says that you have to have the entire Roy G. Biv. I cut that piece of text pattern paper down to 4 1/4 wide, and now I'm taking 2 strips of that and placing it at the top and the bottom. And I basically cut out the yellow, green, and then the green and the blue for that so that it would match the colors of the rainbow that I stamped. I'm also taking a strip of all the colors of the rainbow and putting it on the top and bottom as well, and then just snipping off the excess when I flip the panel over. So I adhere it down with some tape runner and just put it on top of the pattern paper that I already had, just to create a little border for the center of the card, and then just flip it over and use some non-stick scissors to cut off the excess there. And those little strips of pattern paper I will save because you can always use them on other cards. So I'm going to use a little acrylic block just to go in and stamp a couple of the small hearts. These small hearts are also included in that big 6x8 stamp set that's in the kit. And I am using, again, the Audrey blue. It's absolutely my favorite color. I love it so much. I'm so happy. I don't know why I didn't have the stamp set. I mean, the ink pad before. I've always had the cardstock, and it's always been my favorite color of cardstock. So now I'm just going to add some of those fairy gems I'm going to put one on each of the hearts that I stamped. And I definitely like to do that on different sides. So I always look and say, okay, I did the big one is right bottom, the other one will be left top, you know, that kind of thing, just to mix it up. And I put a little gem at the bottom of the rainbow as well. This time I'm going to use all the cloud stamps from the stamp set. There are several different clouds, different sizes and shapes included in the stamp set, and I am going to create a stamped background, which is one of my favorite things to do, in different colors of ink. And I'm only using the 4 ink cubes again from the kit so that you can see that these colors can be used again and again together to make totally different looking cards. I didn't stress about the stamping here, I just had fun with an acrylic block and the different clouds. When I had cut the orange background to the first card down, I had this piece left over, so I flipped it over and I had the little hearts to adhere down to this panel that I've stamped in the background. I'm just going to trim off the excess, and then I'm actually going to use another piece of that rainbow and trim that down by adhering it and then flipping it over and using the nonstick scissors. There's a tiny little sentiment that says live colorfully. I decided to use that amongst the clouds and then added some more of the Doodlebug sprinkles stickers in the little hearts and the dots kind of floating along the open spaces of the clouds. And this one was fast and easy too. As someone who loves rainbows, I knew I was going to love this kit, and I absolutely did. If you want to see why I think it is totally worth it to subscribe to Simon Says Stamps kits, check out this video over here. As always, I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. The kit. No, that's not quite exactly true. It's like so quiet in my house for the first time ever. Everyone's gone. It's a miracle. It's a miracle.